stuff you guys.
So is it a 9 inches?
Yeah. It's not going to hurt.
I'm out.
Oh. It's not going to hurt you.
It's architecture.
It's only going to help.
Close.
T-squares.
Yeah.
It's not going to hurt you. It's only going to help.
Jump! Ready?
Last time, please do this. If you need me to conduct, I'll do it. I'd rather do that and have not worry about it. You guys got it?
Got it.
Okay, go.
6 and 4.
Last time, because I got to get on the other side. Can someone mess it up again? Yeah. This is what it is. Okay, that's that.
Let's make the key obvious when we add.
You know what it is, and again, I just want you to look at it. Either you're maniacal about making sure you don't screw up the counting, or you're going to lose the chance, and you're going to screw up and make yourself look crazy.
And I think what Andrew said is important. At the end, for those of you who know what you're doing and you're real confident, you got to be boom, boom, so that people who are kind of maybe doubting what they're doing will stop playing.
What's up, George? Hey, how's it going? As a regular form. So play the whole thing from C to E. We're going to start. Yeah.
You want to do like the timpani jazz?
Yeah. Is that the easiest way for everyone to do it?
That's the only way we can come in.
Listen, guys, we got to know how to do it now. So if that's the way to do it, then that's what we do. Go ahead. That'd be crazy about how you play that. Yeah, whatever, however you want to feel about it, because that sounds terrible. You know, that's the first thing you play after this long timpani thing, and you sound bad because you're just not remembering how to play it. We do it one more time. The whole idea, let me just kind of fill you in on what the sequence is with this intro. The dance thing is, we're going to play it all down, listen to all that stuff. Now, how do you work on something like that? We go back to the integrated arc and we work on the exercises. So let's do that. Integrate. 124 paradiddles. Remember this thing? We're going to do 24 of them? Is that what we should do?
Yeah, that's
Next excerpt, I'll even name it dot 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 it up. We don't have a name for it. We called it the summer anyway. No. This is, we're stopping at the acceleron, remember? The first version of this is in the integrated arc. So I'm just going to tell you, I'm going to remind you this way. I'm going to say dot 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 it up. We're going to stop after the 124. This is all 124 exercises, right? Okay.
Are you all set with the stage? Could we go up there if we need to?
You go up there.
We're done.
What about the table?
Oh,
Let's go back here.
Finish off the phrases.
during there, so I don't know what that is. So it can like,
I'm gonna help you.
cause you stopped right when I started going, ooh, I was like,
Do this. You guys can listen up. I can fix all this stuff. Just listen to me. When we get to that point. Get me up. You know what, Kevin? Here's what we'll do. You guys hold up a second. Listen up. Now here. That's very, very good.
6 down.
Kevin, you see where I see clapping going into that?
I figure anytime they start out.
You can juice up the volume too a little bit.
Can you just make them aware that he goes back into that room?
Okay, next section. Yes, sir.
After.
He said he'd be back in half an hour, over a half hour.
Yeah, I just don't know what time we gotta stop. We'll keep playing until the gun goes off. Each time it gets a little better, right?
It's like midterm exams. Okay, let's do this. How about we do one more shot of F? You want to do that?
Yes.
Actually, let's do this. Yeah, why don't we get in regular form and run the whole thing?
Where's the tom crew?
I was just gonna use the restroom.
We're headed there right after this.
I need to get in there.
We're going to do the regular form. Regular form. It's more open. As you get to the end, there's more jump going on.
Go out there and see all the different things.
Whole thing.
Great.
remember there being a.
No, not naming.
And I'm here today to introduce a gentleman who's become a really good friend of mine over the last few years here. I'm not going to get into a long, elaborate bio on him, but Colin's been the caption head and arranger for the last 3 years for the Glassmen Drum Bugle Corps, and this year he will be the caption head and arranger for the Magic of Orlando. Colin has really, in the last few years, made a big statement in the marching activity, kind of coming to his own. Not many people know how long he's actually been involved in the activity, sort of in the behind-the-scenes role. I know he's got a lot to say and a lot he wants to do and accomplish here in the next 50 minutes, so I'm going to be quiet and let him get up here. Help me welcome Colin McNutt.
Thank you so much. I can't tell you what an honor it is to be here, having gone to many of these things and just watching your idols up here performing or teaching, educating, and to finally be here and be asked to do this. I mean, it's a complete honor. I'm blown away, and it's a little overwhelming. But I want to thank you guys for all coming out. And I want to start off by thanking some people, because doing this kind of activity is about a team. And it really isn't about me pontificating up here, although it will be today, obviously. But there's so many people that are responsible for where I am, and I just want to give a couple of general thanks to throw out there. The first people, obviously, PASIC and the PAS Foundation to invite me here. I'm blown away that happened. Thanking all the sponsors, Remo, Innovative Percussion, Pearl, and Zildjian. They've just made an incredible impact to help me get here, and they make things possible. The team of people that I work with, all the people on my staff that I put together and that we've been working together for such a long time, I don't do this without them. We are a team all the way through this, and they're a huge part of what I do. And I want to thank those guys specifically. And I want to thank the performers. These guys have totally saved me. This happened about a month ago that I was asked to do this, and they really came together very quickly and came to my aid to help me as a demonstration group. And finally, and almost most importantly, I want to thank Brian Hickman, who's the director of the Glassmen. And he's a guy that put together a drum corps where this kind of program was possible. And none of this would have been developed without him and without the Glassmen. And I wouldn't be here today even doing a clinic on it without them. So I want to make sure that I thank them and give a round of applause to them. So what I'm going to talk about today, and what we put together, is a snare and a tenor line. And if you can see the instrumentation, I've got them kind of integrated in, 2 snares, a tenor, 2 snares, a tenor. And this kind of is a funny story to it. We were on tour, and there was kind of a time when we were understaffed, and I was kind of in there by myself, and I'm thinking, okay, what am I going to do here with these guys? And we, from time to time, would get in this forum to work on kind of isolating the individual quality of sound. And so I started doing that because I couldn't keep up with everything. You know, I'm trying to tech everybody at the same time, and there's all these inaccuracies going on. So I put them in this form, and immediately and clearly you hear the individual quality of sound, the deficiencies, the strengths of the individual players. And I found that this form made it easier to teach all those kinds of concepts. And we actually ended up staying in this form quite a bit as throughout the season, and we sort of warmed up in this form. And I'm going to use this as a device and kind of take you through a little bit of the program and show you how it relates to kind of 3 major areas of the program. The first one, sort of basic stroke and grip technique. You know, so your basic exercise program, singles, doubles, triples, basic roll sequencing, flam exercises. Then there's the second thing, a very important concept for us, is the physical development, which everybody knows you have to have chops and work on that physical endurance and work on the stamina issues and developing your left hand if your left hand is weaker than your right and those kind of ideas. But to make yourself do it every day, it's always very, very difficult because you always want to get in on the music and clean the music up or clean the drill or whatever. But that's the number 2, and it really is probably number 1 for us. The basic stroke and grip stuff and the physical development and the chops, huge part of the program. And then the final thing that we're going to kind of utilize this integrated concept is with the music and the repertoire, and kind of show you some things with that. So without further ado, let's bring these guys in here. Let's get a round of applause. This is all guys from the Glassmen from when I was there. Let's jump right into this thing and kind of keep it moving a little bit. The first thing we're going to play for you is our basic single beat exercise. There's 4 different variations. We work on this at all different tempos, all dynamic levels, but it works on Basically, the single stroke is the foundation of our whole technique. Everything's based off of that, and if you can't get a great sound and great grip and great technique with this kind of a stroke at all different dynamic levels, you're really going to be in trouble, and we find that out every year. We always go back to this and really reevaluate. So we're going to do this exercise. It's played in a round, and we're going to do this right now and play all the variations for you.
Just. Ready? 15.
Mindset. Now, the one thing about this exercise, and I don't want to get into it too much, but the biggest concept for me is the sound quality. And there's a few things that are kind of, you can hear very apparently with the way that they're playing this. And the first thing I would talk about is the rebound and the right to left hand relationship of that. And what I hear is, I hear a very long sound, da, a very dark sound almost, if you could use that term loosely with these instruments, but a little more weight to the sound, a little bit longer sound in the right hand, because they've got a nice grip maintenance, it's a full stroke with velocity, and it's rebounding. And rebound is very, very important, because using velocity doesn't mean that you're going to choke down the sticks, and you're getting this kind of sound. The wood's vibrating, everything's bouncing. Sounds good. So guys, we're going to do number one time, put more velocity in the left, and let it bounce. Okay? This sound, not this. Last time.
12.
Anybody hear a difference in the evenness of sound? It's definitely, you definitely hear a different sound. And now, they were pounding a little bit, they're a little out of shape, so I will give that to them. But the next thing that we try to do is then work on the rebound. They're getting a good velocity now in that left hand, and I kind of work on just getting a good bounce when you put the velocity into it. So that's kind of the basic stroke, and we almost try to do everything based off of those concepts there. So why don't we move on? That's sort of the basic stroke. Let's get into the next, and we're going to skip right over double, triples. If we're playing double beats, it's the same approach. Both doubles are the same quality of sound, same stroke. Okay, so let's do it one time, okay, just for time. And what we're going to do is we're going to play this for you in the integrated arc, and then I'm going to show you kind of why we do this, and we'll put it back in the regular arc. See if you can hear a difference in the quality. We're going to try to get all the individuals to play with the same quality of sound, good strong sound, good rebounded stroke. Then we put it in the regular form. Watch that translate into the individual approach. That's kind of what we're going to try to do. So let's do it one time. The hardest thing here is to get those taps. Those first two taps, if you can get da-da-da-da, those two taps to speak with the same tone and a good solid tone with bounce and all the velocity issues that you want, the rest of this exercise is going to be easy, but you have to establish that technique with the first three notes, which they did not on the taps. Here we go. Okay, so what you're hearing there is we're in this spread out form in the summer. We play a lot in that integrated arc, and then the last couple of times we'll put it back in the form, usually in the drill. Usually then we'll say, okay, set it up in the drill form, and then we're more in this kind of orchestration as far as tenors, snares, and there's always a big difference in the quality of the sound.
Here we go, same thing. Make sure those first two taps, okay? And make sure you play through the left hands.
One other quick note, we're putting a stress on every downbeat of the roll. And you'll see why we do that later when we get into the endurance exercise. But we do this little thing where we stress in a little bit of a stress mark on those beginnings of roll figures to make sure that all hands inside of this triplet roll, right, left, right, in through the rolls, is lined up on the beat. So this is kind of how we do this.
One time.
Okay, so you can kind of hear, can you hear about throughout like a 200 count roll, which they will not be able to do that. I can't do it. They're going to have trouble, but the point is you're striving for that. And then you do 400 counts or whatever. You make it impossible and you try to succeed through that really strenuous exercise. And that's a whole nother development. It's not a lot to talk about. We just kind of just do it. And we're going to do a 200 count roll with the left hand lead. And we're going to stress each note, just like we did in that pulse exercise, which is what we call that triplet roll exercise we played earlier. So let's see how they do. Let's see if they can count to 200. That's always a tough one because, the first thing you do is you forget where you are. So let's see if we can do that.
Let's get this from you. Six to four. You guys got it. Left hand.
It's the same thing again on those two taps. The accent, then the next two taps. It's going to establish the technique and the sound quality. And they've got to get that, okay? They're thinking about counting to 200 too much when I was saying that, okay? Don't worry about it. Play the quality of the sound. Here we go. Give it up to these guys. I mean, it's way past the summertime. They're not going at home working on this one. Nor should they be. I'm pulling them in here. We were doing this before the gig, and this isn't easy. But this is life or death for us because for us in the competitive season, at the end when we get to the finals week performances, we'll fall back on 8 and 200. If we can't do this in the parking lot before the finals performance, we're not going to be set up for success because this is a part of our regimen. It's like anything. If I'm going to train to do a marathon or something, I've got to be ready to do these kinds of things to condition myself, and you do it all the time. So it's the same thing with the drumming for what they're doing because it's so high energy and there's so much strenuous physical demand put on them. Very nice. We're going to now go in the regular form. And we're going to now show you, like we would do 8 and 200 like that. You're hearing it sounds good, it sounds bad, an individual gets in, out. The point is to push through it. Your technique's going to suffer a little at times, but you're going to try to maintain a great technique doing it. Now we're going to do it the easy way, put it in the form. We're going to do 8 and 25, it's 25 count roll. 9 inches, and we're going to do it without the pulse, and we're going to do it one time. Okay? Left hand, okay?
25.
No, right hand lead, but we're going to play that left hand out. First left hand. I think we're going to do that one more time because they had almost too much chops on that. Let's try to really keep it from the triplet into the roll. You have to keep it consistent. One more time. Okay, so you can see that that's a lot easier for them to do than the 200 count. So this is an excerpt from music that was sort of, it's a percussion transition from the 2002 Glassmen show. It was sort of composed and it was coming out of the end zone. It was sort of a transitional piece that we used, and the percussion would come to the main voice. So it's a kind of a long accelerando, and you'll see it's a lot of different disciplines going on in it, and I'll show you how we break it up in a moment. First, we'll just play the whole thing down for you. These guys are, they're looking at me like, oh man, because I'm just doing this intentionally. We would never just play that in the beginning of the day, just one time. Well, maybe at the end of the year we might be ready to do it if we're really warmed up, but we really had to break this thing down. There's too many tempos going on. There's accelerandos, there's different kinds of figures, different kinds. I don't even know if you recognize the excerpt of music that we did, but these are all little portions of that excerpt that we played, and we're still in the 124 tempo. Second roll was excellent. First one, we had a little trouble with that left hand, but hey, we'll move on. That's very, very good quality. Other than that, let's move on to the next thing. Let's do this. Let's stay in this form. Let's play da-da-da-da exercise all the way to the end, so it's a letter E. Okay? We're going to stay in the form here and do it one more time. So we're going to play that exercise, then go into the actual dance excerpt. Very, very hard playing that in this form, and what happens is when the quality of the sound was going in and out, I think it's tentativeness, I really do. I think when these guys question that everything isn't going to be perfect, they need to think every note I'm going to play is the greatest thing I've ever played. And that confidence level, as well as the training they had, it's going to produce the results, but it's almost like shooting a three-pointer in basketball. You have to know that shot's going in and then it goes in. And the way they kind of played that time is there's a little bit of tentativeness on that roll. Would you guys agree? And why don't we do it one more time? I know you guys can go after that. So they're going to do it again. Let's really go after it. And I'd rather, when they make a mistake, if there's a tick, so to speak, or a discrepancy in the quality or whatever, I don't want them to back down. I want them to go after it even more, because that mistake will fix itself very quickly, and that confidence will leave that. So go after it this time. it's funny, even from the side, and sometimes like you'll see a judge, he'll get behind the drum line, and I remember when I was younger, I used to be like, what is he doing behind there? You can't hear anything back there, but you can hear a great playing anywhere. And that time was considerably better, and it was their approach. Anybody hear a difference? I mean, it was totally different. And playing in these kind of groups where we have such a short sound in these instruments and getting, 9 snares to play a great sound, you've got to have deadly confidence, besides the training. Once the training is in place, you've got to have that confidence in what you're doing. Very, very nice. Why don't we just move on? I don't think we need to even, I was going to go back into the regular form and you'd hear it even better. But we'll kind of move on. You're getting the idea there. Let's do this. Let's get those toms into position in a sec. Actually, 10-inch double-headed toms are just, they're Pearl drum set toms. And what they were in the summertime, if you didn't get a chance to see the Glassmen last summer, it was a 10-inch tunable Doombeck made by Remo. And we Kevin Namaki is a snare instructor. He kind of developed a way of hitching these on with different attachments. And I was kind of trying to explore different membrane sounds and get something that had a little bit of a dark fundamental to it. So these are going to have to do for today because we really couldn't get the Doombeck thing to happen because it's so involved you have to drill these drums and Pro wouldn't be very happy with that because I'd be putting holes in there and stuff. So we're going to use these double-headed toms to kind of give you that different timbre. Now this is that excerpt we just played. Let's do slow flams one more time, and then we'll go right into the excerpt of music that this helps. Here we go. Last part, I was telling them they play the check, which is check to the groupings of 3. They got to start thinking about 2s before the 2 grouping happens. Because it kind of switches in between 2s and 3s, and you almost have to mentally think about the 2s and the 3s simultaneously, and that was kind of a little bit better that time. This is an excerpt from the show. We were kind of running across the field, this little feature thing, and when you're running and crab stepping at the velocity that they were, the first thing you do is lighten up on the drum. You don't get a rhythm to happen. You start playing, I'd almost call it flam drags, not flam 16th note check patterns. In this case is how I wrote it. They start to close down, and it's just because they're running, and the first thing you're doing is you're just trying to survive. So this exercise really, really helped that, and you'll hear hopefully a good quality in that second double of those check patterns. Here we go. And what happened here is kind of a little excerpt, and it's based on music by Michael Kamen from the New Moon and the Old Moon's Arms, and this is an excerpt from that. I'm sorry, the Old Moon and the New Moon's Arms, I think is what it is. And we're going to play some excerpts from this material here. Let's do H to begin. Actually, if we could get Kevin Namaki to step up, he's going to help us a little bit because we don't have a bass drum line, obviously, as you can see. And there's a lot of little gaps in there, so we're going to have him kind of help us keep a little bit of maintenance on where the beat is. Let's do that. Let's do this all the way to the end. But the whole thing here is we're getting down to double P. Pianissimo on the end, and it's so hard to get them to play aggressively, and then you have to have the lightest touch at the bottom end of that phrase, and they're going to get it this time. Yeah. Yeah, they're doing a great job. I mean, they're playing. And I made a mistake here. There's actually some stuff that the tenors do here with yarn mallets that I totally forgot to tell George Barrett to bring them, and that's my mistake. But I want you to know that because they're doubling a lot of keyboard elements in the front ensemble, and it's kind of produced a totally different timbre, that yarn sound, and it's sort of blending sounds within the wood sounds in the keyboard section. So you'll hear some of that with these. Show those double head sticks. This is just a version of my snare stick with kind of a felt back to it.
We're gonna do the.
Okay. Not just starting to happen a lot quicker, and it's a different kind of technique. So here they've got to remember, again, to maintain a good grip and a good solid sound. Here we go. This is a little bit more open figures. With that conviction that the integrated arc forces you to do. And if they do that and they keep the balance, remember I was talking about this before, at this point in the game for these guys, it's going to be about balance and the integrity of the tempo. And really the feet will help that, and having that confidence in their approach. So let's do a dress center, and then we can kind of, this would be the last thing we'll play for you. We're going to play the entire movement one for you, top to bottom. Okay, so here we go. Yeah, he got it. He got it. Thank you all for coming. Appreciate it.